Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Tap up the screen, share out the live. Tap up the screen, share out the live. Hi, Danny. Hi. I love those diamonds. Thank you for the heart me. Thank you so much for the heart me. We're going to get started in 4 minutes. Life Unscripted with Miss Gina, episode 2 will be starting in 4 minutes. Thank you so much. Hey, Miss Boss Lady, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Welcome into Life Unscripted. Life Unscripted with Miss Gina will be starting in 3 minutes. But who's counting? Hi, Alicia. Hi. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I'm so excited to see you guys in here. Welcome in, beautiful people. Welcome in. Hi, Debbie. Welcome in, welcome in. Do you guys hear that relaxing music? Trying to get a zen going for us. Hi, Will Help Me, MG. How are you? Welcome in. Tap up the screen, share out the live. Tap up the screen, share out the live. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in, everyone. We'll get started in a minute. We are going to get into Life Unscripted. Hi, it's Nick82. Welcome in. Tap up the screen, share out the live. Tap up the screen, share out the live. Hi, HCYJCY. I wish your phone was working so you could come up, but every time I bring you up, it's technical difficulties because you would be the perfect person for me to do this with. But welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hi, Johnny Munoz. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hi, Hi, Johnny Munoz. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hi, welcome in, family. Welcome in. I am waiting on my co host. My co host is about to come on. Welcome in, Brandy. Welcome in, Unbreakable. Welcome in, Jazzy. Welcome in, welcome in. Oh, HCY, JCY, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought I could do a little something, something since we're doing this podcast. There go my girl. Netta K is in the building. If you all can tap up that screen, share out that live, unfollow me and follow me back, that would be greatly appreciated. My name is Miss Gina, and I have my co-host Netta K, and we are here for the second episode of Life Unscripted. Now, today we are going to talk about when you feel like quitting.
Okay.
Yes. So before you give up, let's talk about what's really going on. So, Netta, for you, what are common reasons you think people feel like quitting?
Some common reasons when they lose their job or have some illness going on, or they feel like they're not loved or wanted.
That's true. That's true. Would you like to share a personal time when you almost gave up and what pulled you through?
Yeah. Well, with me, it was me with the cataracts on my eyes. I wanted to give up because I felt like I wasn't going to see the light at the end of the tunnel per se. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But when I realized that when my brother and them had talked to me, we had that conversation of me moving back and stuff like that to get help and get resources to get the cataracts off my eyes. That's what pulled me through, and by the grace of God and prayer.
I know for me, at one point, um, I was really, really stressed out. At this time, I was working overtime. I was going to school. I had my children in activities, and my dad was really, really sick. Like he was very sick. And, I was so thankful for HCY, JCY because, like some days I couldn't cook. So he made sure that the kids ate because a lot of times after work, I would go from the hospital to class, back to the hospital to see my daddy. And, I would come home. But
Right.
now, let me tell you, one day, and this was like about a year before, it was like 2 years after my dad expired, but one year um before it was time for me to graduate with my undergrad. And I decided to call my mom. I said I was going to call my mom and let her know, look, I'm going to stop school. Like it's too much for me. It's just too much going on. And I wasn't even fully grieving the process of losing my dad. Right. So when I called her, she said, hello. And I say, hey, mama. And she was like, Deanie, what you doing? I was like, oh, mama, I gotta tell you something. And before I could spew it out, you know what she told me? She said, your daddy made me promise him that you were gonna finish school.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt so convicted when she said that. And she was like, what did you have to say? And at that point, Netta, I couldn't say nothing. Like I couldn't
I
say
know.
anything because I was
I
ready.
couldn't.
Netta, I had my script ready. I had everything ready. Everything ready. And it
Mm,
was like, boy, she hit me with that one.
yeah.
Because when I went back to school, Hannah was 8 months old for my undergrad degree. And
Hmm.
Hannah was 8 months old. And I asked my mom, I said, Mama, because some nights, I'm going to have to, go to school after work. And I say, if you can watch Hannah, when Hannah starts school, I will be finishing school. So
Wow.
Hannah started school pre-K4 August of 2011, and I graduated with my bachelor's of science degree in January of 2012.
Wow.
So, but that was a very, very, very challenging time for me because, you
Yeah, I
know,
imagine.
when I lost my dad, like I know somebody that recently lost their mom, and it's like, sometimes, life if life is like at a standstill when you lose your parent, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But I was explaining to that individual, my life has been in a standstill for 15 years because I still have not fully grieved. I still have not fully processed the fact that my dad's no longer here. And then on top of that, my mom, I just lost her 2 years ago. So,
Hmm.
trying to grasp that. Ooh, child, I'm old, I'm getting hot flashes. Trying to grasp all of that, then deal with day-to-day life, that it's hard. It's really hard. So,
Yeah, and people grieve in different ways. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
Some grieve for a long time and some don't, but it's still life, and you got to get through it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we lost my grandmother in '99, and I lost my aunt, one of my aunts, my cousin Steph, mom in 2012, and I still grieve them. I want them here. You know what I'm saying? But God wanted them more, so I try to keep my mind on the positive thoughts and keep my mind on the people that I still have here with me, because we could have lost my mom in 2023, but God seen fit for her to make it through. And I'm grateful for that. But people did grieve in different ways.
And I felt like for me, and I know the thing, the topic, of this episode is when you feel like, quitting. But I feel like, for me, I grieved backwards, right?
Hmm.
Because at first I was at peace. Okay. And then I start getting angry. It's like, the process of grieving for me was just backwards. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
Jazzy said in the comments, it took me a little while to get over losing my mentor. And Jazzy, I can only imagine, you know,
Right.
how that feel, losing your mentor. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never had a mentor. And like sometimes even in your career, I've been in my field for 30 years. Probably you've been in your field for 30 years too, Netta, because we're around the same age. Um,
Hmm.
I've been in my field for 30 years. And even throughout the course of my career, I never had a mentor. And I recommend that for anybody. Anybody. Personal
Right.
personal and professional life. Get you a
Hmm.
mentor. Get somebody that's gonna help you navigate through this thing called life, because it's hard.
Right.
It's really hard, and you're not going to always have the answers. That's one of my suggestions. But Jazzy, I can only imagine how you feel. So, but like for me, I felt like I just grieved backwards, and I don't know. I feel like I've just been doing. I've always done stuff backwards. My daddy used to tell me that all the time. He said when I start,
Hmm.
crawling, he said, Netta, when I start crawling, I would crawl on my back. So he
Oh
used to,
Lord.
yeah, he used to tell me, girl, you've been backwards since you started crawling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, But also too, I would like to talk about, on a good note, for people, to take a small action, but if you have this task or you have a life challenge that you're going through, I would
Hmm.
never recommend anybody to quit. For me, I like to journal. I like to write stuff down. I like to
Right.
read.
Yes.
I would always recommend, and one of the reasons why, for me, I started creating journals is because I feel like sometimes as adults, we don't always execute our emotional intelligence. And I feel like sometimes we always like to take things to social media. And
Hmm.
social media is for what you want people to know, not what they want to know. And sometimes, we could put the wrong thing, on social media and get a
Right.
not so good perception,
That's true.
of ourselves. But what I will say, I would challenge anybody, if you're in a season, in your life that you feel like giving up, journal, pray, baby, get on your knees and pray. Talk to
Hmm.
God. Oh my goodness. Um, make you a prayer closet.
Right.
I don't I think that was the best thing that I've ever done. Was making me a prayer closet. And I use that closet. I use that closet every morning and I use that closet every night. Um,
That's what it's for.
Let me tell you, and it has gotten me through so many challenging times and so many challenging moments. Also,
Hmm.
too, never be afraid to ask for help. Never be afraid, to talk to someone that that is your safe space. We always have to find people that can be our safe space that we can, talk to about, our feelings. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
therapy.
You have to have discernment on that too, and you have to ask God to send those type of people that you can depend on and kind of trust. I know He said lean out to our own understanding and trust no man, but sometimes you have to find somebody that you can confide in, that you know that has your best interest at heart, and it's not going to run back and tell things that you confided in them.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And also too,
Hmm.
Ned, if you don't mind sharing, what are some of your, I want to say, coping mechanisms for when you want to give up but you know you can't?
One is, Lord, that God has grace and mercy on me every day, brand new mercies, brand new grace on me every day, and me learning how to trust Him totally and fully in my prayer, and praying, and my family. My family has been amazing, and I thank God for that. They have been a total support, help, and amazing.
Shout out to the family. Shout out to the family. You know, for me, Netta, I'm so thankful, that I have met all of you guys, my TikTok family.
Hmm.
I'm very thankful for HCY, JCY, because you guys are my safe space. Because, like, in my professional world, when I go to work, I have to wear my face for my team. I have to wear my
Right.
face for my patients, right? I have to put on a face for the providers. Then at the end of the day, your mom, your grandmother, you're all of that. So from a personal standpoint, you have to put on a face for your family. And it's like,
Hmm.
at some point, when can I unmask? Like, when can I unmask? When can I let
Right.
when can I let out that ugly cry and just tell somebody how I'm feeling, what I am feeling, So
Hmm.
I thank y'all. I really thank y'all. You guys are just absolutely, absolutely amazing. Amazing.
I thank you. I thank God for you too. I really do. I thank God for when I say family, I was including y'all too. I really thank God for each and every one of you that has been there, has supported me, has prayed for me, and has thought about me when I, drop out of TikTok a little bit. Y'all know what's going on, and I'm glad God sent those type of people in my life. You know what I'm saying?
We be looking
If
for
I'm
you.
not, I know, and I thank God for that.
Well, I'm gonna open up this box. I'm going to let Tanaris in to get a male perspective because you know males are different than females, right? So men coping mechanisms are a lot different. So I want to take the time out to talk to Unbreakable. Everybody, Mr. Welcome Unbreakable in. And Unbreakable, what tools do you use to push through when sometimes when you feel like life is sometimes kicking you down?
I use the praying and crying to God, you know what I'm saying, trying to like I guess relieve the stress or pain or wherever it is I'm hurting from.
Yes.
But yeah, I usually run to God when I'm hurting like that. When I'm down, needing I think it's a way of me and God connected anyways. Cause you feel me, like every time, what I'm saying, you get somewhere in life. He have to show you who he is too now sometimes too. You know what I'm saying? And I got that understanding. So yeah.
That was good, sir. That was really good. I like that. I really and truly like that. So, have you ever been in a position, Unbreakable, where you felt like, you know what, this is too much. I cannot do this. But what stopped you from saying, what stopped you from just throwing your hands up and saying, you know what, I'm done?
Um well, hello. Okay. Um yes, repeat it again what you say.
Like, say for instance, have you ever been in a position or like in a predicament where you're like, you know what, this is too much. I cannot do this. You know, I don't wash my hands with the situation, but something stopped you from quitting.
Yeah. A bunch of times it's when I'm going through the motions, like just told you
Hmm.
about, but
Yeah,
it's like a late night thing, and it's like it's not even a bad thing for me because I feel like it's something that helped me with dealing with even
yeah, like a coping.
anger and stuff,
It's
like
a
all
coping
that stuff.
mechanism. Yeah, it's a coping
Yeah, it's like
mechanism.
when I cry, I release all of it, rather than what I used to do when I get mad. I cry about it, thank God for another day, and keep it pushing. Like
I
for real.
commend you. I commend you because a lot of men wouldn't say that. And I feel like, a lot of men wouldn't say that because, it's a man thing, masculinity. But I think your full masculinity shows when you're able, when you're able to be vulnerable and speak your truth and speak again your coping mechanisms for dealing with stuff because people have to understand life is hard. Okay, we are
Mhm.
getting things are getting thrown at people left and right, right and left, up and down, and all around. You understand what I'm saying? So, I commend you. Hey, Sunshine Blackman, I commend you again for even sharing that with us. Is there any advice you want to give out to the people in the comments?
Just trust God.
Yes.
Oh,
Just trust God.
that's the best advice.
One thing about, what I'm saying, I don't care what you do, just when you trust God, anything possible. So just trust God. I'm serious.
Hmm.
Even if you're going through it.
like
Yeah.
Jesus say,
Even
prayer works. It
it
does.
does.
Yep.
It definitely does.
Yes. Netta, is there any encouraging words that you would like to say?
Yeah. It's very important that each and every one of us, no matter what you may believe or how you feel, it's important for each one of us to have a relationship with God. That's the most important thing. You got to have a relationship. That way you'll know how to pray, you'll know how to trust him, you'll know how to believe what he said in his word. He said, I am that I am, and he'll be anything you need him to be. He'll be your mother when you're motherless, your father when you're fatherless. He'll be your friend. Remember that poem, Footprints in the Sand. He said when it was only one set of footprints, it was then when I carried you. So don't give up on God because he won't give up on you.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. My encouraging words, the same as Unbreakable and Netta. Welcome in, Roz. Welcome in. Welcome into Life Unscripted. Welcome in. I would piggyback right on them. When you're going through things and you feel like, life is hard and you just want to give up, don't give up. Don't give up. Like Netta say, seek God. Don't give up on God because he won't give up on you. But the one thing I do know, God is consistent even when we're inconsistent.
Amen.
So, and it's a reason. It's a reason. If you woke up this morning, it is a reason why you are here and you were granted new mercy and new grace.
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you guys for attending Life Unscripted with Miss Gina, Netta, and Unbreakable. Thank you for being wonderful host. We will see y'all again next Tuesday. And I'm going to end this and start my real live. Love you.
All right. Love y'all too.